culture is more than just entertainment. It's a lens into society, relationships, and human behavior. I'm Grace, and here on the Grace Report, we dive into stories beyond the headlines. Whether it's reality TV drama, celebrity scandals, or royal family intrigue, I'm here to break it all down. What it means, why it matters, and how it reflects the world we live in. Join the conversation, share your take, and let's make sense of the culture shaping our lives one story at a time. Good morning, everybody, or should I say good morning, sunshine. Happy Thursday to you all. I'm so glad to be back with you for another morning report. How explosive was yesterday's episode? The stuff we spoke about, there's a lot. In fact, news actually came out last night that Allison, who is Stephen Boss's widow, she actually got arrested for public intoxication or disorderly conduct, or the two of them in 2018, you guys. So again, how interesting is it that she has chosen to expose all these things about Twitch while hiding such major things about herself? In my opinion, if you're getting arrested for these sorts of things, then perhaps you might have a problem that you need to look into. And again, we do have to remember that Twitch's toxicology report said that there was nothing in his system, no drugs, no alcohol. And she's saying that he was a rabid addict. It's all blowing my mind. But listen, that is a story for another day and another video. Good morning, Ali. Yet again, the first comment in the chat. I so love and appreciate you being here bright and early every single morning. Theo, I also forgot to tell you yesterday, I thought you were French this whole time. I think this was in Tuesday's episode of the Morning Report where you told me that you were living in Florida, and then Foxy the Swede told me she's not Swedish, she's in Chile. And I was just mind blown. I said, all this time, I thought you were, somewhere in France, and she was somewhere in Sweden. Hi, Kahara, Le Tragédie, Boss Lady, and everybody else here watching. We've got an awful lot to discuss in today's morning report. I forgot to upload the entire graphic, but I'll give you a little bit of a rundown. We're going to talk about Khloe Kardashian having her first podcast episode be an interview with Scott Disick, who is the father to her nieces and nephews, as she's addressing a lot of very disgusting rumors that have been swirling about them over several years. TMZ is reporting that Jessica Alba and her longtime husband, Cash Warren, are about to file for divorce. Allison has responded to the backlash over her exposing Twitch in her memoir. Jay-Z is not only filing for the dismissal of his SA lawsuit, but he's also filing to have sanctions levied against the lawyer who represents the client. So there's a lot going on there. Bachelorette star Lindsay, I think she got screwed in her divorce settlement. We're going to talk about what exactly that was. And then I'd also like to talk about last night's episode of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills with you guys as well. Okay. Now, first, before we get into all of that, I have to talk to you guys about the LA fires. Okay. First of all, if you are in LA, if you have loved ones in LA, you guys are in my thoughts and prayers. It is just so sad what just keeps on happening over there. The effects of global warming have been catastrophic for LA and California in general. It wasn't that long ago that a lot of these people's homes were burning. I think it was in the Montecito area. Then before that, it was in the Malibu area. There's always some sort of extreme wildfire. And we're seeing that in Vancouver, British Columbia as well, up in Canada. There's an awful lot going on, you guys. And I just have to say something. And and again, I feel bad for regular people like you and I who are in LA. Claire, shout out to you watching from Kenya. That's amazing. I'm Kenyan as well. Hello. I just do not like how celebrities are being made the face of the LA fires, okay? Because first of all, when you see these celebrities and they're talking about their home burned down, they're neglecting to tell you that it's one of their homes, okay? They've got multiple homes in other places. They will be just fine, right? But then when regular people have their one and only home burning down, that is not headline news. And on top of that, That's super cool, Theo. And on top of that, let's talk about global warming and how that is to blame for all of these things, and how celebrity lifestyles have been only accelerating the rate of global warming, right? You've got Paris Hilton with her very own private jet. It's called Sliv Air, right? She travels everywhere by private jet. We all know Taylor Swift already is one of the worst polluters with her private jet as well. There's the guy there's Bezos. There's so many people, the Kardashians, etc., right? So when these people are causing these global warming issues that lead to their homes and everybody else's homes burning down, and then they come out here and they start crying about it, it just pisses me off. Like, it's just, I think that they're too egotistical to even sit there and think for a second about how they have contributed to these problems. It is not normal to have these places burning down multiple times a year. Why are they not taking a moment and reevaluating the way it is that they live their lives and that they pollute and contribute to these issues in society? Okay. And then on top of that, these people, they've been quiet as an entire country has been bombed ad nauseum multiple times a day for over a year straight. Some of these people who are now crying about their homes burning down were the same people who were cheering about other people's homes being burned down and bombed down. So again, I want for the story about the LA fires to be more focused on the real people who lost their homes and who are at risk of being homeless, right? Not the people who lost one home, but have a million others to go to. Okay. So, that's just something that I really, really do not like about the celebrity culture that we have going on. Their lives are not more valuable than anybody else's. In fact, they are the people who continue to screw the rest of us in society. And so cry me a freaking river. Okay. And I'm seeing a lot of you guys feel the exact same way. I can't with that. It has been heavy on my chest. So I'm really happy to hear that you guys are feeling the same way. So once again, I really, really do hope that they get all of this under control for all of the regular people living in LA. And that we are able to shed a light on them and a spotlight on them. Will these celebrities, right, who are crying about how devastating these fires are, will they then turn around and use their money to help their fellow people living in this city? Most likely, no. Most likely, they're just going to go cash that insurance check, hide out at their other house, cash that insurance check, and move on like nothing happened. They do not care about the everyday person. So sorry, not sorry. Why should I care about them? Okay. There you go. My little rant, you guys, for the day, because so far I haven't seen anyone trying to launch any kind of initiative to help other people, because they literally are in the same boat as you guys, where their home burns down and they feel the pain of that, but they're not going to turn around and use all the money, influence, and power that they have to help you. They won't. They will only help themselves. It's nice to see some of you guys trickling in. Jaleesa, Hamlet's Princess, Caroline, everybody, Kristen, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We've got an awful lot to discuss today. So now let's talk a little bit about Khloe Kardashian. I heard this story a little while ago, which was that she was launching a podcast, okay? And I completely forgot about it. I thought it was an abandoned project at this point that they kind of hoped that we forgot about, but no, Khloe in Wonderland, which is the name of her podcast, weirdly enough, I don't know what that means or symbolizes, but I digress, is underway. And in her debut episode, she is interviewing oh, look who's here. Make It Make Sense is here. Hey, Mims. Nice to see you. Good morning. Good morning. And it is a miracle. So for you and anybody else who is new to the Morning Report, I launched the Morning Report after I went to London with Kempire for his Kempire After Dark live show. And it was just so cool to be able to talk to people like live in real time, and to just see how they feel about certain stories and certain subjects and whatnot. And so I caught the live streaming bug. And so every weekday, ever since at 10 a.m. EST, I am here on the Grace Report channel doing a morning report talking about the day's hottest topics. So thanks so much for popping in. And exactly, Deidre, like it's and Claire as well. This is something where they're really they're worried about themselves. And I just cannot, I can't with it anymore. I feel like we gotta We gotta stop. So let's get into the first major story of the day. It is about Khloe Kardashian's podcast, and there have been a lot of rumors over the years about her relationship with Scott Disick. Scott Disick has made a lot of very inappropriate comments towards her, including calling her sexy and things like that. And they're talking about whether whether or not they've ever slept with each other or crossed the line physically. Take a listen and let me know what you think.
Have you and I ever hooked up?
Fuck yeah.
No, we haven't. And I didn't know if this was related to you and I or just in general. Why aren't we married? I don't know if that's like together or just why aren't we married?
Are we both not married?
But I don't know which one it was.
Or do they mean to each other?
That's what I'm saying. I don't
know. That's a huge difference.
Well, nobody specified who my...
Well, how do we ask? The polars?
But I don't care to give it a lot of attention.
Right, that would be a little weird.
Do you find it strange? I mean, no, I don't find that strange. For years, people have always ran with this narrative about either you hooking up with Kendall. I've always seen a lot. It's either been Kendall or me, and I'm like, I don't even know if you and Kendall hang out that much because she's always just so
I don't
busy.
think it has any truth, so they just run with anything. You know what I mean? Just like, oh, look at their relationship, they're close. Boom. Let's just say something ridiculous.
It's so nasty.
It's like, yeah, and then people with us, because we get along well, people are like, they're soulmates. Like, bro, I have children with her sister.
Yeah, it's wild.
We're not soulmates. I obviously say a lot of gross things that are probably too much.
But you know,
that's just who I am.
Yeah, you know it's your humor.
But obviously I'm not serious. Like, and I've even, like, the fact that people think that is psychotic. But I guess if I was watching a show and I wanted it to be entertainment, you know, I guess I would jump to those too. Like, oh my God.
Well, the crazy thing is if we actually were together, we would be annihilated for it. So it's like people, do you know what I mean? Like no one's
it would be pretty crazy.
Well, yeah, it's disgusting. But
it would be totally fine in like 2 weeks these days. Like after 2 weeks of like annihilation, it would be like, and it worked.
It's wild.
It's psychotic.
It's psychotic. What are the things you both love and dislike the most about each other? I mean, honestly, I feel...
Hang on.
Like with you, the things that I once disliked from you, I like love. Like they're just who makes you up. Like, but I just think we have such a relationship where you're literally like my brother that it's everything you do. Like if my brother annoys me, it's like,
yeah,
like it's
we're going to get over anything.
Oh yeah. No, I don't have a doubt. Even if I don't talk to you for weeks or like you can call me at any time and you're my brother and I'm obsessed with you.
I feel like I could go to you with like anything in the world.
Same.
So there you go. Shout out to TMZ.com for getting that soundbite. So a lot of you guys have a lot of mixed messages or mixed opinions about the possibility of the two of them like having hooked up. And I agree with a lot of what you guys are saying, which is like, it's strange to me that they're acting surprised that these rumors are even out there when the rumors were fueled by their own like very inappropriate behavior towards one another. And it's not even just comments, it's the touching, it's a lot of different things like that that make you go, oh, are they hooking up or something? Like something is definitely off. And like Hamlet's princess says, like Mim says, they don't really mind sharing men. Like there has been a history of this in this family, right? So for example, the rapper The Game, he slept with Khloe and he slept with Kim. And this is something that he said on the Wendy Williams show, but he's not the only one, you guys. Drake, the rapper, he is rumored to have hooked up with Kim Kardashian. And guys, don't pounce on me. This is the rumor. I didn't make up the rumor, but this is the rumor. People also say that he has hooked up with Kris Jong-un as well. So there you go. And don't forget Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber, apparently he used to have a fling with one of the Jenner girls. I don't remember. You guys could let me know in the chat if you're watching live or in the comment section if you're watching the playback. But Justin Bieber is rumored to have hooked up with either Kendall or Kylie. And then also we know that he had a fling with Kourtney as well, right? So this isn't something that would be like foreign or bizarre or like it came out of nowhere. Like this is something that like unfortunately already has some sort of like history in the Kardashian family. And it's not just like that they like to keep it in the family. They do also like to kind of like share men with their friends as well. Remember, didn't Khloe Kardashian fall out with Trina over the game? Like she got with the game after him, and then she fell out with someone else over Trash Can Thompson, and then Kim has gotten with a friend's friend guy. Like just a whole lot of stuff, you know? So I just, you know, it's funny to me how shocked they act by all of this, but the proof is in the pudding. There is a track record here. And I do agree with those of you who are saying that maybe they have had some kind of weirdness going on, but they both decided to take it to the grave. In which case they would remind me of, and shout out to those of you who were watching Netflix's The Ultimatum, that would remind me of Sandy and whatever, JR. Right? Like it was very obvious that those two slept together during the experiment, but they have decided to swear themselves to secrecy and to gaslight us all about it, and to pretend that it never actually happened. Now, Heather's asking if that is an old photo of Khloe. No, that's actually a new photo. This is from the actual podcast episode, and they just taped the podcast. So this is the latest iteration of Khloe, what she looks like most recently. I will say, I don't know if it's just the hair or what, but like at first glance, I would think that she looks like Hailey Bieber. Do you guys get that as well? I you know, when I saw the hair, I said, wow, that is giving Hailey Bieber. All right. I think she looks good, you guys. I think she looks good. I am looking forward to listening to the podcast. I hope she interviews like more family members and that we get some more information about what's going on, because that reality show that they've got on the Hulu network, I feel like it is overly produced. Right? Like there's just so many filters on them. It just all feels really staged. But I feel like if they're having real organic conversations over the span of about an hour, we're going to get a lot more authenticity from them. So just based off that alone, I am going to be giving Khloe in Wonderland a chance and recapping it for you guys here on the Morning Report as interesting tidbits come out. There was an interesting comment here that came out from Kimberly that says the family's too comfortable to be too close to their exes in an inappropriate manner. That's not normal. And I do want to ask the rest of you how you feel about this comment, because it is true that Kourtney has expressed to the family on several occasions that she's not super comfortable with how often Scott is being brought around, right? Like she's moved on. She's now married. She's got a child with her new husband and everything like that. And she doesn't really want Scott around as much. And this was like a big point of contention in the last episode or season of The Kardashians that I watched. But Khloe and Kris, they just keep on bringing him around. And I find that to be, you know, very, very mean towards their sister Kourtney. But maybe you guys have different opinions. Now, while I wait for you guys' opinions on that to trickle in, I'm seeing some of you guys' comments about the Kardashians sharing the men. Y'all didn't know this? Have you guys been hiding under a rock? Those were the guys. The game, you can go ahead and watch it on YouTube after this episode of the Morning Report, but type in the game, Wendy Williams show sleeps with Khloe and Kim, and you'll find that there. Boss Lady says they make me uncomfortable every time. Scott saying I say a lot of nasty things and people believe it. Well, stop saying exactly. I can't. And you know what? Shout out to Kanye West for that nickname. And thank you, Mims. That's the guy as well. James Harden was someone that Khloe got from Trina. So I was thinking of the game, but it was actually James Harden, the NBA player. Okay, so voila. Mims, a lot of people are talking about collaborating. You guys, Mims and I, and actually Layla as well, we did collaborate in the past on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, but unfortunately that season was so boring that like I think Mims continued watching it, but I tapped out. I think Layla as well, but Mims is a true trooper. He stuck around for the rest of the season. Maybe we're going to link up again and do like an episode or, you know, another project together. But, you know, I definitely love and adore Mims, just like I love and adore Layla and Kempire as well. So it looks like you guys are happy with the latest iteration of Khloe. Let me put her picture back up. People are giving her compliments. Listen, I think that whenever we talk about the Kardashians and their body dysmorphia and stuff like that, I always think of Khloe and Kylie especially, right? Like ever since Khloe burst onto the scene, people had a lot of very negative things to say about her appearance. And so she's just been trying really hard to feel beautiful, and like she measures up to her sisters, Kim and Courtney, who were kind of like the runaway beauties that everyone was mesmerized with. So I can never fault her for all that she does, because I think that, you know, when you were thrust into the spotlight, even if it's something that you chose for yourself as well, and you are bombarded with a lot of messaging from people saying that you were so ugly, you were so big, you're so this, you're so that, like, of course you're going to try and, like, you know, change that, right? So that the hate stops, so that like the attacks stop and everything like that. So I can never fault her for it. And same with Kylie. Like, have they gone overboard at certain times? Yes, but we can't act shocked when we've seen the comments that people were leaving about them when they still had their natural faces, right? And Kylie especially, she was super duper young. She didn't even really have the ability to consent to being put out there. She was put on the show when she was only a teenager, right? Or even a preteen. And people were already making fun of her appearance, right? So to me, listen, if she grows up and starts fiddling with her face, we only have ourselves to blame for it, right? But hey, what can you say? Now, why don't we get into Jessica Alba, y'all? This Jessica Alba story, it doesn't really shock me, because I do remember doing a different video about it back in 2022, I want to say, on TikTok, about how she and Cash are not doing too well. She and her husband, they've been together for about 21 years. But obviously, when you've been with someone that long, you're going to hit some bumpy patches. And they initially hit this bumpy patch and were considering divorce about 2 years ago. But now, according to TMZ, they have full-blown drawn up the paperwork, and all they have to do is pull the trigger and file, which obviously makes me very saddened for them. I think they make a very, very beautiful couple. They've been very successful together over the years. Like, she got with this man when she was 26 years old, y'all. And now she's like, you know, in her mid 40s. You know, I think that it's absolutely incredible what they've been able to accomplish, or, you know, together. They've got beautiful children together and everything like that as well. And so it sucks and it's hard to hear, but you got to do what you got to do. You only have one life in this world, and you got to live it to the fullest. And if that means you got to leave your husband and start anew, then that means you've got to leave your husband and start anew. Okay. Now let's get back into this Khloe. Oh, y'all are really, really, really into this. And Malin, I got to ask you, who is the cheater? Is it Cash Warren or is it Scott Disick? Scott Disick cheated with, what did your comment say? Malin, where did your comment go? Cheated with Lindsay Lohan? Who did? Shout out to Make It Make Sense. Thank you so much for the super chat. Mims says, can you imagine what will happen when Chris gets her hand on Alabama Barker? They will get her a tan and set her up with a black celebrity baby daddy. Don't even get me started. I feel like Alabama is already so vulnerable. Like, she seems to be very, very emotionally fragile. And I know she just dropped her music video. Courtney was being a supportive stepmom by appearing in it and everything like that. But that child has just been so hyper-actualized for a very long time. And it makes me so nervous. And one thing about Chris is that she doesn't mind all that stuff with, like, you know, with her children. So I think you're right that she is going to set, you know, or send Alabama down this path. And I just find that to be scary. Because here's the thing. For all their faults, right? Courtney, Kim, Khloe, Kendall, Kylie, they are very strong, resilient women. They have handled so much criticism over the years and never crumbled, right? Their brother, Rob, he crumbled. And I think, and that's okay, right? People can crumble. Maybe I'd crumble under that. Maybe you'd crumble. We don't know. Right. But Alabama, to me, she's got it written all over herself that if she were really, really put into that machine, she would crumble. She would not be able to withstand even half of the criticism or the attacks that the Kardashian Jenner sisters have suffered. Do you guys get that vibe as well? It's coming, right? Because Chris is greedy. She's already working on her grandkids too. But Alabama, I just do not see her being strong enough for that. But anyway, listen, I just found my sound. So thanks again, Mim, for the super chat. I'm going to pop in. Okay, so people are saying that Jessica Alba's husband, Cash Warren, is a cheater and he had cheated with Lindsay Lohan. Well, listen, this is why I love going live with you guys, because I did not know this information. This is news to me. Okay. I heard that, like, maybe he had some sort of jealousy towards her career and her really popping off and everything like that, the Honest Company taking off and whatnot. But I had no idea that there were cheating rumors. In fact, and listen, I'm not one to gossip, so you didn't hear this from me, but I heard that one of their children might be the child of someone who works for the Honest Company. Did y'all ever hear that rumor? Because that's the only rumor I heard about infidelity in this relationship. But listen, if they've been taking all these breaks the way that we've been seeing, then maybe something happened on both sides where they both said, okay, listen, fair is fair. We're going to go ahead and open this relationship up for a little bit. But listen, look at them. They're such a beautiful couple. I hate to see them break up. I really, truly do. But I do wish them the best. Their children are a little bit older now, right? I think their oldest is what? Honor, she does the TikToks with Jessica. I think she's at least 16 years old. And then the other ones, I think, are probably in like the 14, 12 range. So like, I think that they are mature and everything like that for a divorce. But it's still not going to be easy. But again, they haven't officially filed for divorce. It's just that TMZ is saying that the documents have been drafted. The settlements and everything like that have already been preliminarily worked out. Apparently, right? Allegedly. And that any day now, we are going to see a filing. Theo, don't make me laugh. Theo says, not an affair, sponsored by the Honest Company, Inc. An organic affair. There you go. Did you hear that rumor? Because I heard that rumor. I very, 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 specifically remember talking about that over on TikTok. Now, you guys, do you remember the big Allison Holker story that we did yesterday? Oh my God. Did we have a time talking about this? The amount of people who came out, friends, family members, colleagues, 2 of her former managers have also come out swinging against this woman. People have been accusing her of lying about Titch. People said that Titch was begging for help to leave her. He wanted so desperately to leave this woman, but apparently she was making it impossible to leave her, perhaps threats involving, access to the children or something like that. So they pushed him to stay and ride it out for the kids. And unfortunately, he's no longer with us. He just, and I'm not saying that he took his own life because of this marriage. No one knows. He didn't leave any kind of note about that in particular, but this is what some of his family and friends have come out saying, right? And people have also come out saying, Allison, you feel like you have open book to go ahead and talk about him and his trauma and whatnot. Why don't you talk about your substance abuse, alleged substance abuse? People have accused her of being on coke. People have accused her of being on Molly X. Now her old arrest reports are being dug up. Apparently she was arrested for public intoxication, disorderly conduct. Like, the list truly goes on with her. So anyway, amidst all the backlash, and there was a lot of backlash, Allison went ahead and released a statement to her Instagram stories, okay? She said, and I quote, "To fans of Stephen and our family and friends, I want to be clear that my only intention in writing the book is to share my own story as well as part of my life with Stephen to help other people. Just like you, I never really knew what happened. And even as I'm trying to put the pieces together, I will never really know. If you decide to read the book, hopefully you'll see my intention is to celebrate this, the love and life I shared with Stephen and our 3 beautiful children, and also the more complex aspects of both of our lives. I hope that by sharing our full story, maybe I can help someone else who might see themselves or a loved one in Stephen. And sharing, I hope that maybe they can catch some of the red flags that I missed before it's too late. Over the course of the last 2 years, I've spoken in detail with the NAMI Foundation, as well as the Solomon family and the Defense Line Foundation, to better educate myself on mental health issues so that I can share warning signs with others. All of my proceeds from this book are going to fund the mental health focused foundation I started in Stephen's honor, Move with Kindness. My hope is that we don't need to lose another husband, brother, father, or friend to suicide. I believe that if Stephen were able to choose, he would choose to have his story told if it meant saving even one life. Much love to all those who have supported our family these many years. So there you go. That is her defending herself against the critiques. And I want to know how you guys feel about her explanation there. Because I will tell you, based off of all the people who have come forward and said that she made every single member of his family, including his mother, including his brother, including, the cousins, the uncles, everybody. Apparently she made them all sign NDAs in order to go to the funeral, and his mom even to see his body, right? So to me, if you truly want to spread awareness about mental health and you really want to help as many people as possible, why is it that you forced his family and friends to sign an NDA? Would it not be your goal for them and everyone to share as much as possible to stop other people from going down the same path as you so claim? Right? And Allie, this is a great question. How do you write a memoir without actually writing about yourself? Right? And now in the midst of all of this information coming out about her and her allegedly, abusing substances of her own and getting arrested for being drunk and disorderly in public, is that information going to be in the book? Right? I don't want to jump the gun and say that she's hiding this or that because I haven't read the book yet. It has not come out, but that better be in the book if you're talking about we need to be, open and whatnot. Right? And again, I am nervous that the information that she had put in that book about, for example, his childhood abuse, right? She says that Stephen never told anybody, not even herself. So to me, I feel like that means that his family didn't know about it. So was this the way that the family found out about this in the People magazine cover spread? Like, were they supposed to find out about this by purchasing your book and reading it? Like, it just feels very, very vicious to do that, not only to him, but to his family as well. So I don't know. All of this is just so sad to me. Guys, if you were not here for yesterday's morning report, I do implore you to watch the video. It's still up in my page. Watch the video. It's a lot. Like, we went over every single allegation that everybody had put out there, and it was bad. The NDAs, you guys, and people also said that she was keeping the children from the family. Like, they had not seen the children since his passing, except for maybe like at the funeral and stuff like that. It was really, really bad. Her manager said that she was a money hungry narcissist, that she was just this, she was that. Like, it was terrible. People said, we only tolerated you because we loved him. One of his brothers said that, like, they think that she is the reason that he is no longer here because she knew he wanted to leave her and she just was not having it. She was strong-armed. Like, it was bad, you guys. It was terrible. And then we also found out from one of her So You Think You Can Dance colleagues, who was there when they met, was there when they got engaged, was there when they got married, was there when he died. That woman, you know what she said? She said, Allison, you are an evil woman, because when this man died, first of all, you didn't even go looking for him, right? When he vanished, you didn't even blink. And then on top of that, within 48 hours of finding out that your husband died, what do? You go on Instagram and you remove, his last name from your profile. She was Allison Holker Boss. And so now she just took off Boss, right? And then on top of that, another thing that we talked about that was super duper weird in the interview was that she never once referred to Stephen as her late husband, right? She was painting this picture. We were so happy in love up until the end. I had no idea this was happening, but now it's my ex-husband. No, girl, that was your late husband. You never divorced. That is your late husband. It's a lot of very weird stuff. So I do implore you to go ahead and watch yesterday's episode of the Morning Report if you haven't already. Mim says, we all know no one cared about her life story, so she included her deceased husband's deepest, darkest secrets. It's the lead-in, yep, and the headline to sell books. Stop the cap. Absolutely. And I feel like she could have done this. I do think that she has a right to talk about him ending his life. She has a right to talk about our marriage, her relationship to him, everything, but with dignity and respect for him, for the children, for his other family members, for his friends, for everybody, right? And she just didn't do it. And that's something that is very, very, very disturbing, right? Boss Lady says, you can't help your daughter with her skin color identity crisis. Your husband with, oh Lord. Oh, Brutal. And here's the thing about her daughter. Let me pull up the picture, right? Her name is Wesley, and she's, she seems to be a very nice, sweet girl. But I genuinely thought that this was a daughter that she had with Steven, Titch boss as well. But no, her daughter is 100% white. But once Allison got with Titch, the daughter started tanning herself and perming her hair to mixed fish as well, to mixed fish, which is definitely, something that was very, very bizarre, a story for another day. But it is true. I think that she needs to clean up around her own house and figure out her own situation if everybody is to be believed in the allegations that they have against her before she comes out and tries to sell Titch's stories. Now, you guys, we're going to take a quick break here to hear a message from our sponsors, and then I'll catch you on the flip side. Y'all know me and my water breaks. I need to drink my water. Give me a second. The Morning Report is brought to you by Philo. Watch your favorite shows and movies from over 70 different channels, including MTV, TLC, WeTV, and more for only $28 a month. Get a free trial today by clicking the link in the description box of this video to get your free trial up and running. Are you looking for the perfect skincare products for women over 30? Look no further than Ruthia. Ruthia is a skincare brand born from love and made for parents. Their flagship product, the Resilience Cream, delivers clinically proven age prevention benefits such as average 14% wrinkle reduction after 4 weeks of use. Click the link below and receive 30% off your first purchase today. So there we go. Thank you guys so much. I don't like really drinking a lot of water on screen because it's like, gulp, gulp, gulp. Like, nope, let me do this in peace. So we do have a question from AD, which is, isn't she dating someone else? Well, here's another thing that was really strange about Allison, right? So she doesn't go missing looking for her husband who's missing. Right? She claimed she didn't know he was on drugs or anything like that. But then she said that she was calling around to rehabs. She removes the name from her Instagram within 48 hours. And then months later, she is spotted in Monaco holding hands with a man who used to be friends with her husband, Emmanuel H.O., the NFL player. A lot of very strange things here, right? And then later she said, okay, with hindsight, I see that he was abusing drugs, right? She said, oh, he was smoking all the time. He would go in the guest house, smoke multiple times a day, be left alone. He'd be drinking. He'd be doing all these things. He was showering less. But then when they did the autopsy, they found nothing. And as we learned in yesterday's morning report, if you were doing marijuana, right, or if you're smoking marijuana, typically you would have traces in your body, in your system, especially if you're doing it to the extent that she claims he was doing it. You would have traces of this in your system for days to weeks after your passing. So the fact that this man's toxicology report turned out squeaky, squeaky, squeaky clean, it means that something is just not adding up. And speaking of something not adding up, there was another thing that came out yesterday. So one of Titch's brothers, he said that the gun that he used was her gun. And that is a direct contradiction to what it is that Allison told the police. When the police came to the house to do a walk around to try and get clues on what could have happened to Titch when he was still missing, they found a gun safe with no gun in it, right? The box was open. And she said that he had just bought a gun because there was a lot of robberies in the area during the pandemic and whatnot. So she said that it was his own. And now, someone close to him is saying, no, it was hers. So there's a lot of very, very, very conflicting things going on here in her story. And I feel like by publishing this book, she is really, really setting herself up for a lot of kind of skepticism from people, like, can they exhume him and restart the investigation or whatever? I don't know. I don't think that's what's going to happen, but I feel like there is a threat of that when you open up this can of worms. Mim says, wait, Rachel Dolezal 2.0, I can't. Yeah, honestly. And I feel bad for her because she's so young, right? So like, you're growing up in this family, everyone, but you, in terms of the children, they've got like, this curly hair and this like, darker skin, and you kind of feel left out. So I feel like she's got some trauma from her own father. And so that's what she decided to do to fit in and try to pass as Titch's like, biological daughter, because she said in her own Instagram message when he passed away that this was her real dad. This was the only real dad that she ever knew. So my heart hurts for her. But I don't know if you guys ever saw the Rachel Dolezal documentary, but it was a similar thing for her as well. Like, she had a lot of trauma, and so she got adopted out into a family where like everyone was Black or something like that. And that's what really kind of started her own evolution towards her own, you know, journey, or whatever you want to call it, with Blackness and her identity there. It's a really, really, really steep rabbit hole, but it was definitely fascinating. Mims, thanks so much for another super chat. Mims says, the brother says, exactly, she does coke, Molly, and X as well. And then other people are saying that she abuses alcohol, and there's just an awful lot going on there, you guys. And I gotta be honest with you, I believe them all. Here's the thing. These to me are very casual, you know, and I don't mean to like act like it's everybody's doing it, but in Hollywood, right, or in moneyed circle, this is just like, you know, this, you might as well just be drinking booze, right? So to me, it's not unbelievable that she would be doing these things, right? To me, what's unbelievable is that you would be doing these things. You would have these charges against yourself and everything like that, but then you would turn around and throw your husband under the bus and then do an interview with People Magazine and say, oh, he was just doing all of these things, like a drug called clocaine or something like that. Like, you've never heard of it. Meanwhile, you're over there cutting up lines too, allegedly, right? And she said that there were pills that she had to Google. Were there? If you know what that Molly pill is, and you know what the X pill, you got to Google the other stuff. Are you sure about that? So she was just really, really acting like she had never, ever, ever seen any drugs in her life until she went into that closet, which is, it's ridiculous, right? It really is. But once again, thank you so much for your super chats, Mims. I honestly, listen, what's done in the dark, like I always say, will always come to light. So if there is something else going on here, it's going to come out. It's going to come out, right? I think that a lot of people in his circle are asking for an investigation. They think that the police did not look into her enough. And listen, they might get it, right? If she's playing this dirty, keeping the kids from them, throwing dirt on his name and everything like that, and just acting this way, they might really, really push and put on pressure for an investigation. I don't know that they would want for him to be exhumed and everything like that, but yeah, honestly, it's very, very sad stuff. And once again, I really do hope and wish and pray that he is resting in peace, even if she has kind of disturbed his spirit for a little bit with this just tasteless memoir. It's kind of like Ali said, how are you releasing a memoir and you're not even talking about yourself? You're talking about somebody else. Just so opportunistic. And speaking of opportunistic, by the way, you guys, if you're enjoying the stream, please do make sure to go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And don't forget that I run the morning report every single weekday at 10 a.m. That's Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Let's talk about Jay-Z, okay? The last time we spoke about him, the judge presiding over his case gave him permission to file for a dismissal. And so for those of you who are just catching up or who might have forgotten, there's a woman who claimed that Jay-Z and Diddy and another celebrity SA'd her when she was 13 years old in the year 2000 after the Video Music Awards. And Sean has been fighting tooth and nail to clear, not Sean, well, both of them. Jay-Z and Sean Carter have been fighting tooth and nail to clear their names. And Jay-Z is now filing for a dismissal. And not only is he filing for a dismissal, he is also asking that the woman's lawyer, Tony Buzzbee, be imposed a monetary sanction or a fee award for, quote, alleging facts without a sufficient investigation or by failing to withdraw those allegations once it is clear that they are false or exceedingly unlikely to be true. And so it is true that when she did her sit-down interview with NBC issued a disclaimer saying, listen, y'all, we know we're doing this interview with her and everything like that. Of course, we want to give her side of the story and her opportunity to tell her truth. But there's a lot of things here that are just not adding up. Like she said, she spoke to Benji Madden. Benji Madden was not there. She said she was in this place or this blah, blah, blah. They said a lot of things were not adding up. But listen, trauma does alter your memories. So maybe that is to blame. I don't know. But it is a very, very tricky case for her to win. And it's a very uphill battle. And just so you guys know, this filing, right, this request to dismiss the lawsuit doesn't mean that it's automatically going to be dismissed. This is just Jay-Z formally requesting for it to be dismissed. And then her legal team has until the end of the month to file their own thing to rebut this, right? They're going to file why Jay-Z and his team should not be given the right to dismiss this lawsuit. And then next month or in March, the judge is going to take a look and then ultimately pass down her ruling in regards to all of the information that she has been given. So far, I've got to be honest with you, I do think that Jay-Z is most likely going to be granted the right to dismiss this lawsuit. I do not think that sanctions are going to be placed on Tony Buzzbee. I do not think that he is going to be ordered to pay Jay-Z a fine. In fact, the judge is already super duper irritated with the way that they've been conducting themselves in this courtroom. She said that both of them have been acting, for public opinion, just grandstanding. And she is just not interested in any of that at all. So I think that both of them, they need to really toe the line here and keep it professional, keep it strictly to what is the issue at play here. What about you guys? This is a mic check 1 2 1 2. If you are watching me live, please let me know in the live chat if you think that Jay-Z is going to be able to get this case dismissed, and if you think the judge is going to order attorney Tony Buzzbee to pay a fine. It's very, very interesting stuff here, you guys. Honestly, I feel badly for this woman if what she's saying is true, but that she's having trouble remembering and everything like that. But at the end of the day, it's tough, you guys. It really, really is. It's a tough call. And if you are watching me on the playback, part of my playback posse, my VOD squad, please feel free to let me know in the comment section of this video. I definitely will be getting to you guys too. AD says, that's how you know they're both pompous and arrogant. I agree. And you know what? I gotta say, at first when I heard that Jay-Z was going to ask for payment because he felt like his name was ruined and slandered, I thought he was going to ask the alleged victim to pay him. In which case I would have said, Jay-Z, you lost me here. You are so rich already, right? And it would not have been a good look to go and ask someone to go ahead and pay you, because I don't know, on one hand, I feel like you have a right, when someone is playing with your reputation and it's going to cost you money and everything like that. But it would have just been a really terrible look, because I don't imagine this woman has much money, right? What about, I'm having a hard time articulating what I'm trying to say there, but it would have been a bad look. But I am happy that if he's asking for money, he's going to ask the lawyer who already has a lot of money and has a reputation of being an ambulance chaser, right? But I digress. Heather says, I don't believe they'll be ordered to pay a fine. Me neither. The plaintiff needs to have some really good evidence at this point. Yup. I don't see this case getting dismissed at this point. Oh, okay. We got a point for the other side. We also got Kristen saying she doesn't think it's going to be dismissed. Why have Cassie's lawyer not yet helped the other victims? He is a real lawyer. Oh, good question. I don't think so, because the judge already has thin patience with Jay-Z's lawyer. Exactly. So it's really interesting to see how people fall on both sides of the equation here. So listen, at this point, we're going to have to wait and see what pans out. Tony Buzzbee and his team, they're going to be filing their motion in just a couple of weeks here, you guys. So towards the 21st of January, you're going to see news of them filing, asking to throw out Jay-Z's motion to dismiss. Okay, you guys. And then it's not until February or March that we will be able to see what the judge ultimately rules. But listen, it looks like it can go either way. It's just, and I don't know if you guys were here for that. I don't think it was a morning report. Maybe it was, where I read both arguments. I read Jay-Z's outline for his argument for his motion to dismiss, and I read Buzzbee's argument for his motion to dismiss. And I have to say that Jay-Z's was very meaty, whereas Buzzbee's was kind of like a lot of distractions thrown in there. So that's why I kind of felt like there was more substance in Jay-Z and why he wanted it to be dismissed, right? But we'll wait and see. There's a lot of twists and turns here. Buzzbee married into, is that where his money comes from? He married into a billionaire family. And I guess this is what he's using all that money for now, right? To prop up his name and to get all those billboards. I'm sure he's got all those billboards. That's one thing about Vegas that makes me laugh when I go there. It's all these billboards. And typically when you see billboards, it's for products, right? Or movies, or new albums, but there it's like lawyers. And I just find it to be so funny. I think Jay-Z will sue for defamation if the fine petition doesn't go through. Oh, listen, I do think he is well within his right to sue that lawyer for defamation, and I don't think it would hurt his reputation too much. But I don't know. Do you guys think it would be a little bit too aggressive for him to go after this woman? So say her case gets dismissed, and then Jay-Z turns around and sues her for defamation. I do think that like he has the right, because this really affected him, right? He didn't lose any brand deals or anything like that, but this affects his image. So based off of that, like he has the right, but just because of the disparity of power and income, like I don't think that it would be good optics wise, if you guys know what I mean. And Milena, it's kind of like what you said, you know, these people should be going to Cassie's lawyer. Cassie's lawyer, straight to the point, gets you a settlement in less than 24 hours and you're good, right? Whereas Buzzbee, he sets up the 1-800 number. He does all of the press conferences and stuff like that. It's a little bit too much. And Mims, a plethora of lawsuits by the end of February against Jay-Z or against Buzzbee. I need to know. I'm going to bookmark your comment here because I need to know. A lot of people have been trying to link Jay-Z to Diddy from the very, very beginning. And I do think that this woman opened the door for other people to be able to go ahead and file. And I think that that is why Jay-Z is being so aggressive. He doesn't want anyone else to be able to file. And he wants to show, hey, listen, I am a pit bull. I have the money to be a pit bull, and I will make your life miserable if you come and sue me. With which I say that's unfortunate. If you really did harm people and you are going out this way, right, to scare people out of being made whole by the justice system. I need more water, you guys. I'm sorry. I need more sponsors so I could take another big water break. Claire says, yeah, the court of public opinion already convicted him. Exactly. And it would be a shame if what she's saying is untrue and the public is already here crucifying him, right? Ali says, I would sue her for damages that are reasonable for her. Thank you. There you go. That's good. For her income level. Because sometimes these people, they'll go extreme. They'll try and sue you for 50 million, knowing you do not have 50 million. And then it just looks bad on them because they don't even need 50 million. They've got more millions than they need. Right. And then they're coming after someone who doesn't even have even maybe 10,000 in the bank, asking this type of a person for 50 million. Right. So listen, y'all, it sounds like Mims has got some good tea for us. So let's sit patiently. I'm sure he's typing it out for us right now. And in the meantime, while we wait for that, let's talk a little bit about the former Bachelorette, Rachel Lindsay. Did you guys watch her season of The Bachelorette? Are you one of those people who wanted her to end up with that other guy and not Brian? Because a lot of people, I think the majority of people wanted her with the other guy. I didn't watch her season, y'all, by the way. Although I didn't watch her season, I did watch her compete for Nick Viall on his season. I didn't watch the full thing, but just a couple episodes here and there. And I remember her winning the first impression rose and whatnot, right? So her case is just so funny to me because she is a lawyer, right? She is a lawyer who married a man she barely knew from a reality show. Granted, they dated for a couple of years after getting engaged, but still. And she just never thought to get a prenup with him. And not only is she a lawyer, but her father is a judge. So it felt very foolish, but I digress. But listen, at the same time, she was probably thinking, listen, I make, a reasonable amount of money as a lawyer. He makes a reasonable amount of money as a chiropractor. Like, there's no need. We're both going to have equal incomes. Until she pursued a Hollywood career and it worked out for her. And those Hollywood salaries, y'all, are super, super high, right? So that's when she kind of knocked herself into a stratosphere where she would be eventually having to pay alimony and stuff like that in the case that they were to divorce. And that's exactly what happened. I think this girl got a little screwed in the divorce because she makes good money, but the amount of money she has had to pay this man and the assets and then this and then that, I think that they're a little disproportionate to her income, if I'm being honest with you guys, okay? Ali says, I could never get into The Bachelorette or The Bachelor because of how white it was for so long. Yeah, I know what you mean. I gotta tell you, I watched Jason Mesnick's season. I thought it was so good. I watched the season with that really beautiful girl, and she had the daughter named Ricky, and then the husband was like a race car driver, Emily Maynard's season. I watched a couple of seasons and it was really, really good, but it is true that like for a while you're kind of like, well, damn, I wish that we had like, more variety in there or something like that. So I get what you mean, Ali. Milan says, because of her other victims are being laughed at, shame on them. I agree. Now Mims is back to tell us, okay, we're gonna circle back to the Jay-Z story for a quick second, you guys, because Mims is back with the tea. He was telling us earlier that we have to keep an eye out for lawsuits dropping in February. And now he's answering why he said that, okay? Diddy and possible Jay-Z, if Buzzbee can actually vet them in time. Also, I've heard rumors of superseding indictments, which is why the government isn't trying to give the defense their discovery yet. Oh, Lord. Jay-Z, what have you done? Allegedly, of course. I just hate this. I don't understand what it is with men, right? These famous men, they can never rarely just enjoy their money in peace and not harm anyone. They're always getting caught up in DV. They're always getting caught up in like just nonsense, right? That they just should not even be getting involved in the first place. I wonder how old Jay-Z was when he was allegedly doing these things, because here's the thing. He is married to Beyonce Giselle Knowles-Carter, and Beyonce Giselle Knowles-Carter does not play about her image. She didn't even get involved when her sister was beating the brakes off her husband in an elevator because she knew the camera was up there. She takes her brand, she takes her image and everything so seriously. So you would think that this man would too, right? And I would think that he would, even if, look, for himself, he doesn't care about his legacy, but at least for the legacy of Beyonce, the Beehive, Blue, he wouldn't get caught up in this stuff. I really hope this is not recent. I hope this was when he was, doing those foolish, thug life activities like stabbing his uncle, because we already knew he was trash in that era and he was doing those sorts of things. But if we were to hear that he was doing these things while married to Beyonce, now that, oh my God, please do not let that be true. Oh my God, I would be devastated. I would hate to see him ruin, the family name like that, because they're a beautiful, wonderful dynasty family. So I really, truly hope he did not get caught up in anything. I really do hope he did not harm anybody, because that would be disgusting. Mim says, remember Jay-Z's demand letter included 3 to 4 minor boys and girls. If Buzzbee can vest the rest of the accusers in time before the statute runs out, the Gender Motivated Violence Act. Oh, Lord. Listen, if these things are true, if these allegations are true, then I do hope Buzzbee is able to vet them and bring justice to them. But I really do hope that Jay-Z did not get caught up in that nonsense, because that is just so, so, so sad. Free, I talked about Love is Blind UK here. And when Love is Blind France comes, I'm going to be talking about it. But the other stuff, I don't think my audience watches them all too much, unfortunately. I do love Love is Blind Brazil. That is one of my favorite, if not my favorite of all. And I would say so. Yeah, I'm a feminist girl. Yeah. And Ali says, give your man a little bit of power and they run rampant. Exactly. I would hate to see, oh God, you hate to see it. You do. I got to be honest with y'all. I always thought that Beyonce kind of downgraded when she got with Jay-Z. I said, really, girl, this guy? One of the most lethal, the greatest face cards of all, the most beautiful women to ever exist, one of. And this is what you, okay, girl. Okay. And not only that, but his history, right? Of, like Mim says, crack dealing, stabbing your uncle, all sorts of things. Like, why would you get with this guy? God. We'll keep an eye out. You guys, please do make sure to subscribe to Mims's YouTube channel if you have not already. He always has that juice. He's always sitting on ready with the lawsuits. He has them cover to cover. He has you covered, you guys. So if anything comes out in this Jay-Z versus Buzzbee lawsuit or anything like that, he definitely will have all that information. So definitely do make sure to give his channel a subscribe and a follow. Okay, you guys. Let's get into Rachel for a second, because we got to talk about how she got screwed in this divorce. So as you guys are aware, she has been paying this man some spousal support, right? They initially lived in Miami or something like that. And then they moved to LA for her career. And then he says that he was not able to keep up his chiropractic practice, which initially was making a lot of money. And so that's why he needed money from her, right? So she was paying him $13,000 a month in spousal support for a little bit. But now that the divorce has been finalized, she has been ordered to pay this man $500,000 as a lump sum deal. No more payments after that. Oh my God, Rachel, why did you not get a prenup? Paying a grown, able-bodied man $500,000 to divorce is insane to me. It's insane. I would be sick. And here's the thing. We saw Rachel's financials. She makes good money from hosting and from her podcast and stuff like that. But it's not good enough money to where paying someone $500,000 does not make you recoil, does not make you have to budget a little bit. You know, like this is a lot of money for her, you guys. It really, really is. And so I just do not understand how she was able to sign off on this. This sounds like such a bad deal. Couldn't she have herself represent herself? What about her father? Like, where was her legal team that they had her sign this? So we're also finding out, in addition to the money, he is also going to keep their North Hollywood home, a 2023 Porsche Macan, and a couple of other businesses, while Rachel gets to keep her engagement ring and wedding band. And she's also going to keep their Miami home and a 2021 Honda Accord. Y'all, he walks away with a Porsche, a 2023 Porsche, and you walk away with a 2021 Honda Accord. I'm crying for the girl. Are you kidding me? And this man was talking about he only makes like a couple $100 a month, not even a couple thousand, a couple $100 a month. And the judge says, here, take this Porsche. You, miss, take the Honda Accord. How is he going to keep up that Porsche? Oh yeah, that's right. With the money, the money that she has to give him, $500K, you guys. I can't. I'm glad she got to keep a home. So now she's relocating back to Miami. And that makes me sad because the whole reason, or half the reason y'all are divorcing, is because you left Miami to go to LA. Now here you are wanting to move back to Miami. And this man wants to stay in LA. But I also don't understand, why does he want to stay in LA? He told the judge he didn't have opportunities for his career in LA. And so that's why he needed money from Rachel, but he's staying in LA. None of this makes sense. Rachel, you played yourself, girl. You played yourself so hard. I need you to be more careful the next time around, because this is just not it. Oh, I hate to see it, girl. I really, really do. We've got to move on to our last story, y'all, because this is just getting too much. Cut the cameras. Listen, you guys, if you've been enjoying the morning report so far, please do make sure to go ahead and give the stream a thumbs up. I so would appreciate it. And it's a wonderful way to let YouTube know that you enjoy this show and that you want to make sure to be notified every single time I go live, or when I've got other videos that come out as well. Because sometimes when you're subscribed to multiple channels and whatnot, notifications for different channels fall through the cracks, and they try to figure out what you really truly engage with. And so if this is one of those things, please do make sure to go ahead and give the stream a thumbs up. Okay, you guys, Theo says that he wants to stay and live it up in LA. Listen, $500K is a good amount of money, but in LA, it'll go down the drain quickly. I don't think that their LA home is fully paid for, so the payments must be kind of high on there. And when you're keeping up with that, plus you're keeping up with like a brand new Porsche, right? And then you're trying to keep up a certain image and lifestyle and stuff like that, you will go through that money within give it 3 years, 4 years or something like that in LA of all places. Can I tell you guys something? I don't understand now. I did before, but now maybe because I've completely changed where I'm at in my life, right? Back in the day, I used to dream of living in LA, in New York, in Paris where I live now, and all these big cities. But now, and this is what I was watching before I even started filming, like all morning, I'm just like on TikTok looking at homesteaders and people who have these big gardens. Now I'm like, off the grid all the way. How far 500K would go these days? If you were living off the grid, or just even like in the suburb or somewhere of some like nice calm city or town, and then you build your own vegetable garden, right? You've got your fruit trees, you've got your this, you've got your that, you've got your herbs and everything. You got your chickens for your own eggs. To me now, that is the dream life, right? So I don't get it anymore. Have any of you guys ever have any of you guys had like a big shift like that where you used to love the big city life, you got it, and now you're just gone, spun in the complete opposite direction? That's me, and I'm planning my escape every single day, y'all. I am so excited. I'm knocking on wood that is this year. This is the year that I get to go down south, live in the sun, live in like this like just cute little cottage house with a big garden, and just grow my own fruits, vegetables, herbs, everything. Lord. Anyway, Mims, are you my sugar daddy? What is happening? Wow. I think this is like the 4th super chat Mims has sent. Thank you so much, Mims. He says, if you were richer, would we bat an eye for him to pay her $500,000? Sounds like a double standard she got with him, just like Twitch chose the devil. No, exactly. And I own it. To me, I feel like I can't. I'm kind of like a traditionalist in my relationships and stuff like that. The idea of, to me as a woman, paying a man $500,000 is crazy to me. You know what I mean? And it's true. It's an outdated way of thinking. I agree, but it's my way of thinking. And and here's my thing. It's also the fact that he's not looking after kids, right? When women typically are paid out this much money, it's because they took a pause on their career to rear children or this or that, and they need to be compensated for that. This man, yeah, he had to take a pause on his chiropractor thing, but not all these years, right? And then he's got an online presence. He could easily be making money just like Rachel's making money. Her money's coming from podcasts. Her money is coming from things she did on The Bachelor, and he was on The Bachelor just like her. So why is he not able to make his own money? You know what I mean? So there's that kind of stuff that I don't like. It feels like he doesn't want to work. And I can't stand a man who doesn't want to work, who doesn't want to take care of his family. That just, to me, is just, it doesn't track. I'm sorry. It just doesn't. I'm sorry. And as well, it's like Boss Lady says, what is the point of your father being a judge, you being a lawyer, for you to end up in this situation? Because if she was just like a random, woman with no legal background or anything like that, then okay, you could see how she fell into this foolishness. But the fact that she, as a lawyer herself and with a father who's a judge, still wound up in this situation, it's like, come on, girl, do better. Do better. What are you doing? Right? But I digress. You guys, we got to get into, Grace, no, definitely not Kentucky. Absolutely not. I'm more going to live in the Nice area or Nîmes or Montpellier or something like that, more like that. But I do just, oh God. And thank you guys so much for the support. I'm happy to see that there's a lot of other people here who are passionate about Houston Rose Gardener. There you go. I want your life right now. That's where I'm at. And thanks for the manifestation, Allie, and another super chat, Mims. If I divorce Oprah, she is going to pay me. And listen, I would support you in that because Oprah's got more money than she can ever spend. So if you even take half of it, it's still not too much, right? Because she's a billionaire. But in Rachel's case, here's the issue. She doesn't make that. She makes good money, but it's not enough that she could easily pay this man $500,000 and not have it hurt her pocket. And that's what I feel like is unfair. Come on. She made, this is going to hurt her. It really, really is. And I don't love that. And I agree, Cam. Mims has really been doing it. And he is my sugar daddy, y'all. And I love it. Thank you so much. And yes, the French Riviera, and I went there 2 years ago. I stayed 2 weeks to see if I could live there. And what I had said at the time, because I was in a completely different place, was no, ça bouge pas beaucoup. It's not as busy as Paris or anything like that. So I'm just going to go back to Paris and then figure everything out later. But now I'm in a completely different place where that is exactly what I'm looking for, where, there's not much going on and it's just chill and it's relaxed and everything like that. So I'm so looking forward to that, honestly. Oh, God. But you know what? That's the thing about life. You have to go and experience all these different ways of living and stuff like that to figure out what ultimately works for you. I think I'm going back to my roots because y'all know I grew up in a really, really small town with a population of maybe 18,000 people. So you guys, let's get into the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Did you guys watch the episode last night? First of all, this photo of them, they all look so beautiful. I love old Hollywood. I have never seen a woman who is not able to pull off old Hollywood glam. The big, curls, I think they call them barrel curls, right? The elegant dresses and everything like that. That truly was the era. To me, every time I see this photo of them as a cast, my eye gravitates towards bows. I think that like in day to day, whenever she's like shooting with the girls, she wears way too much hair, right? And I think it just looks a little bit like too much, costumey almost. But in settings like this, it looks absolutely divine. I find her to be so damn beautiful. Just like Erica, I find beautiful. I find Garcelle to be stunning. I find, it's just such a beautiful cast. So I really do enjoy watching them and all of the drama that they get into. So I want to talk to you guys about some things that I noticed in last night's episode. Boss lady, I didn't know you were in Montreal. That's awesome. Whoa. Thank you so much for tuning in. And shout out to my fellow Canadians. I saw a Kenyan here earlier too, and I'm also Kenyan. So it's so nice to see my peeps. So let's talk about some of the things we noticed in last night's episode, you guys, okay? Garcelle, she talked about how she had to kick her son Oliver out of the house when he was like a full-blown junkie. She has talked to us in the past about his addiction issues and everything like that, but I didn't know that it got to the point where this man was like banging on the doors to be let into the house, and she had to, as a mom, refuse to let him in. That must have been the hardest thing that she ever had to do. But I think that it was a very strong and wise, unfortunately, wise thing to do for someone in that state, because you hear so many stories all the time of people in very, very active addiction, right? Especially when it's that hard stuff where it costs so much money. And if you don't have a job, well, you probably lost it because you're in active addiction, right? What do? You start stealing from people. And listen, Garcelle, her husband, he was a venture capitalist or something like that, y'all. And y'all know she got money. The amount of things that this man could have stolen from her, the harm, and just the trauma, right? For the brothers having to see their older brother like this would have been so devastating as well, okay? It's a mess. And I really, really, really commend her for being strong enough to go ahead and do that. Now, it was also nice to see him like have dinner with the family and everything like that as well. Now, PK really truly hates Dorit, you guys, and I want to know why you think that is. Because at first, when she was talking about the separation and everything like that, it seemed like they were still amicable and everything like that. So I had no clue that it was going to get this ugly, right? But it got to a point where he says, this is why I want to be divorced to that woman. I never want to blah, 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 all that type of stuff. And it makes you wonder, is Dorit kind of like lying about what's going down or something like that? I don't know. But I'm curious to watch this play out. I know that Dorit and PK did some sort of like an interview for the Bravo after show. And he said that Dorit is a full-blown liar. He said, Dorit is talking about helping me through the darkest moments of my life and whatnot, but she wasn't even there when I was bankrupt, this, that, and the other, although she tried to represent herself this way. And yeah, I don't know. I'm really curious. And I would love to see him come to the reunion, you guys, and really kind of just blow the lid over all of this stuff and to kind of tell us like what's really, truly going on behind the scenes in this relationship. And I do also wonder why they haven't filed yet, because it just keeps getting progressively uglier, but you're not hearing anything about them full-blown filing. So I'm curious about that. And the last thing I'm curious about, y'all, is Bose. So y'all know Bose loves Dorit, right? And Dorit loves that Bose loves Dorit. That's what it sounds like, because we haven't really seen Dorit try to get to know Bose. She's always venting to Bose, right? She's giving energy vampire towards Bose, right? But do we see her like try to like get to know her or anything like that? Ask her questions about how her day, how she's doing, blah, blah. No, like it's always a conversation about Dorit and her divorce and what she's got going on. And I wish Bose would wake up to it. You know, when you're getting used by an energy vampire, you feel it. And I wonder if she feels like a heaviness after her conversations with Dorit, because they are very heavy, right? But I digress, you guys. Let me go ahead and pick up some of your comments. I had no clue we'd be going over time today for the morning report. In fact, I thought we would be 45 minutes or something like that. So it's been really great to be able to speak with you guys for so long. Claire says, I'm still in awe that you're Kenyan. I didn't know. Oh, that's amazing. Yes, girl. Born and raised in Nairobi. Born in Nairobi, raised in Kenya, but raised as a Kenyan. Good for her refusing to be his enabler. It's hard when you're in the moment. You don't know how to handle it. Exactly. And I think that she really opened herself up to a lot of criticism and mom shaming about her decision, but I think it was the right decision at the time. And look at Oliver now, right? He's well adjusted now. He's got his son. He seems to be a good dad to his son. And so I guess he needed that tough love. Hey, Adam, my fellow European, hope your first week of 2025 is going well. Thank you, Adam. Were you at Campfire After Dark? You look so familiar. You're from Campfire After Dark, right? Because you're my cousin, right? From the UK. And I hope your 2025 is going well as well. I feel like Mary and Garcelle could be really good support systems for each other. I agree. And I have been loving the evolution of Mary as well. And I do hope that she continues to really show up for Salt Lake City because they need her. Like she really, truly is that girl. And Boss Lady, my bestie, is Haitian. You guys just celebrated your Independence Day. So happy belated Independence Day. She spent all his money. Well, yeah, that's the thing. Dorit is a fashion girl, y'all. Dorit, everything has to be vintage. Everything has to be from like the archives and everything like that. And that is not cheap. And you know what's so sad about her spending problem is that the children suffer, right? Like, can they afford to continue sending those children to those expensive schools? Can they continue to continue enrolling the children in those private sports and things like that? I don't know, thanks to Dorit's wild spending, right? And I would be very, very resentful as well. But I do think that he should have stepped in earlier because that was primarily his money for a long time. But here's the thing, y'all. I don't think that she necessarily is the one to blame 100% because PK went bankrupt before she even came around, right? He did that all on his own, like he said, on the Bravo after show. And on top of that, he has an alleged gambling problem, right? Like he continued to gamble throughout the marriage. So I think they were both very, very fiscally irresponsible. And I find that to be very disappointing at the end of the day. I knew it, Adam. So nice to see you here. Guys, Adam was at Campfires After Dark in London, and he was such a riot. He was there with his friend, and they were just too damn funny. So nice to see you here. And I hope to see you in tomorrow's morning report, because now my voice is shot and I have to go and take the dog out on a little walk. She needs to go use the washroom. So I got to head out here, but I am looking forward to seeing all of you guys in tomorrow's morning report. So just a reminder, if this is your first time joining us, I go live every single weekday. That is Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to talk about the day's hottest topic. So once again, thank you all so much for being here. My regulars, my newbies, Mims for all your super chat. It really has been an incredible time. Adam says RHOBH is really disappointing me. 6 Housewives is not it. 7 is the magic number. Dorit and PK are phony. Also, Bose gives Nat vibes. Why would a former Netflix and Apple exec suck up to Dorit? Listen, I love this season so far because Dorit is like going in with like her machine gun. And I especially loved like the face off with Camille. But listen, we're going to get into that and more tomorrow, Adam. Thank you all so much for being here. Please do make sure to give this video a like on your way out, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye guys. Take care.